Hi, I'm Adam Myers, Water Mitigation Specialist and Project Supervisor for Paul Davis. Here to talk to you today about the leaks that can happen in your home. We have dishwashers, washing machines that can of course overflow, but also we have pipes in the home that we don't foresee. Also like our hose bib here that we're used to hooking our garden hose to, but don't see what's in the wall. And of course we can have a break that during the springtime, we'll hook up our hose, maybe wash our car, fill our pool, and we'll be causing damage inside the home. So I'm here today to talk to you about how we would handle that. The first thing would be to shut your water off. It's going to be, of course, the first emergency that you're going to think, how can we get this stopped? So get that stopped. Look for any signs of damage throughout the house. Also, one of the things you're going to want to probably do is to call a plumber. Get that process started. There's also the process of calling a water mitigation specialist. And then your insurance agent and see what your coverage are. Those are those kind of first emergency needs you're going to need to do. Of course, once you're going to call someone, you're going to need to convey the damage. So take a look around the home. What do you see in the ceiling? Maybe in your basement, do you have some squishy carpet? Exterior walls tend to be a place to go and look. Those are things that we're not normally thinking of. But again, once you're looking around for that water shutoff valve, you can kind of follow the pipes from there and see where they lead. And then you'll have a good gist of the size and scope of it, so you can convey that information to your water mitigation specialist and also your insurance. You'll of course have to describe to the plumber where your loss is as well. So that gets your process started. But the importance to calling a water mitigation specialist is that even before the plumber gets started, the water mitigation people can get started in cleaning the home of the water damage. A ceiling might have collapsed by that time. Things of that nature that you can get that mitigation process started. But more importantly, we're really looking for damage in walls or insulation so that you don't have any problems down the road where you have microbial growth or mold, as we sometimes refer to it. And that's the importance. You may not understand that you have a vinyl floor down, but underneath that there's wood subfloor. So something you need to be cautious of, and what a mitigation representative is going to keep an eye on and monitoring during that drying process. Also in the industry, we see that homeowners don't really understand the scope and size of their home. So they might misjudge the size of their basement, the size of the affected area, how far, if it went into an adjacent room, how far that damage really exists. They may not understand what all a mitigation crew can handle as well. Handling a stuffed bear or something of their child's, or clothing, any belongings in the house as well can be something that be handled as well during the loss. So during that process, you're just scoping out the size, getting those people involved, but you're also going to have some time involved in this process. This isn't just the first day. There's going to be a couple days that are involved in this. Then you're going to leave the belongings in those areas. Sometimes they're dried on site, sometimes things are removed. Sometimes they put up barriers that section off the size of the house to make it a smaller drying chamber, is what we call it. That promotes the drying and lessens the time that we have to be involved in your home. So it's important to leave those things in place so that the drying process can happen in a short period, so you can be lessened in your inconvenience. Those things are important to leave windows closed, doors closed. Listen to the technicians and how they tell you they're working with you. You have that full advice through the whole process, not just from the start, but also through to the finish. And that also helps getting your home put back together in the end, that you've had this process from start to finish, and it really makes the process go awfully quick. So some steps you can do to prevent things from happening around the home. Of course, become familiar with your home. Like I mentioned, the water shutoff valve, where is that located? We sometimes don't know where those things are. Inspecting the home, walking throughout it, checking attics, crawl spaces, getting those things looked over once a year. It's important. It's the living part of our home, and we sometimes neglect them, but it's important to know where things are, know what needs maintenance. Just like coming back to the hose bib here, removing your hose before winter hits, before those freeze hits. We're not so worried about the hose. It's okay, it's gonna be put away outside, but this part that's in the wall, that's something that can't be drained if the hose is on there, and that will cause the pipe to break. So there's little things you can do that will aid in preventing some water losses. Some things like a washer are just going to happen, and that's why your mitigation specialists are here to help you. It's important to know who you're contacting and do your research. The Better Business Bureau is an important key in doing that research, realizing who you're using in the community and that they're insured, licensed, bonded, and safe to be in your home, that they have the knowledge from insurance institutes that also do some training, which was one of the things that I was referring to, that I'm a water restoration tech. That gives me the knowledge to know where to look, what to look for, and to properly dry the home out. So keep those things in mind and do your research. Thanks again for watching this video. I'm Adam Myers with Paul Davis, and we're a proud accredited BBB business.